Hey everybody, Alex here, and welcome to the first entry in A Base to the Past. My very poor play on words about me talking about gaming stuff in the past. Um, Pretty much this whole little segment is going to be me talking in front of the camera. Maybe a little bit of a retrospective, maybe what was going on with me personally when I was playing a certain game, my thoughts on a certain game from years ago. Or basically just stupid shit that happened to me while I was playing a game, or like a story that went into it, something funny. And pretty much I've decided to play it safe with the first entry, and I'm going to be talking about my experiences in picking up Metal Gear Solid. Now, obviously this isn't the original one. My original PlayStation 1 copy is lost in Queens somewhere, I think. But this is from the Essentials pack, so I don't think it's any mystery. I'm a big fan of Metal Gear, so like I said, I wanted to play it safe, and I'm going to be talking about my experiences in picking up Metal Gear. So without further ado, let's get into it. My history with Metal Gear actually dates all the way back to the NES days. It was actually one of the first NES games that I willingly told my parents I wanted. Typically, they would just buy me games that they thought were cute, like here's a Mario for you, so to speak. And I saw the cover of Metal Gear, and I was like, ooh, this looks like Kurt Russell. Literally, that's what I said. And my parents bought it for me, and I have to say, I loved the game up until the minefield, because I couldn't fucking get past it. And I was too stupid to realize how to get past it. But ultimately, the game just did nothing but frustrate me, and I was a little kid. And the kicking and screaming eventually led to crying and throwing a tantrum and nearly breaking things and throwing controllers at the TV. And my mom was like, listen, we gotta get this game out of Nintendo before he kills somebody. This is ridiculous. So my parents took me to Toys R Us in hopes of finding me another game to distract me with. And ultimately they failed, but I did find these gameplay, gamer's choice, whatever. I'm gonna pop up a video, an image of it somewhere. I don't know. I will know when I see it. But essentially, these were VHS tapes, and I've mentioned these in the past. And these VHS tapes would have video walkthroughs for 3 to 4 games. And this particular one I saw had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Metal Gear, my God, Skate or Die. Now, why you would need a walkthrough for Skate or Die, I have no idea. And Defender of the Crown, which is a fantastic game. So, went over to my mom and I was like, I want this. She's like, that's not really a game. And she saw Metal Gear on it. And she was like, no, you can't buy this. You can't buy this. Please, for the love of God. No, I am not buying you this. No. And I was like, but it has Teenage Mutant Turtles on it. And I had that game. So, I was like, but it says here it shows you how to beat it. My mom's like, okay, fine, whatever. But you can't get a game if you get this tape. And I said, fine, I don't care. So I popped the tape in, I get home, pop the tape in. And tape was like 45 minutes, an hour. It was long. And I watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles walkthrough maybe like 12 times. Like, it was just cool to watch, nothing. It was like watching YouTube videos, but on a VCR, kind of. And there was narration and commentary. It was really cool. Which would explain why I like watching those videos today. So, watching the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one, I realized a lot of strategies, and I applied them to my own game, and I eventually beat the game. So, oh my God, the tape actually worked. And, I ran around the house bragging to my mom, oh my God, it worked. And my mom's like, good. I'm like, I'm gonna try Metal Gear. No! Didn't matter. Watched the Metal Gear one maybe like 4 times. But one part about the walkthrough that killed me, absolutely killed me, was the minefield part. The narrator goes, make sure you use the mine detector. Make sure you have the mine detector. I was like, what the fuck? So easy. How could I not? It pissed me off to the point. So finally went back, had the mine detector, got through the minefield. I was shitting bricks. I was so happy. I finally passed this part that eluded me for so long, then I got shot. But whatever. I eventually went through the whole game. Got to Metal Gear. Now, the best part about these tapes, which I will say, they don't show you how to do the last boss fight. They play the sound effects, they just don't show you footage. They give you a still. And, the narrator will just give, some clues. Like, make sure you use walls, or make sure you have the heavy machine gun ammo, or something like that. Or in the case of the Double Dragon one, it's like, keep using kicks. And then, you hear the sound effect for kicks. And that would be it. kind of cool. So it took me a while, but I eventually beat Metal Gear, and at that point, Metal Gear was now one of my favorite NES games, and I must have played through it at least 10, 12 times within like a month after watching the tape. It even got to the point where I would just watch the tape because I didn't feel like playing it, but I wanted to experience it again. And those tapes also eventually led me to pick up Mile and Secret Castle, and I'm one of the few people that knows how to beat that game, I am proud to say, amongst my circle of friends. And Defender of the Crown, which, as I said, is a fantastic game, and Bionic Commando, which is also one of my favorite NES games. So, at this point, we're going to fast forward a few years. Now I'm in about the 8th grade, and the NES had all but faded out of my gaming lifestyle. I still had it. I think at this point I had to switch to a top loader because my old toaster broke. So, I was hanging out in this store in Midtown Manhattan known as Games and James or James and Games, something like that. Essentially, it was an import, a bootleg, a cell phone store, and they sold something else too. Anime, yeah. Now it's just a cell phone store, and it's not known as Games and James or whatever the hell it is anymore. So anyway, I'm hanging out there, and I'm flipping through a Game Fan magazine. Now, Game Fan was a great magazine. Some of you may remember it because this magazine knew how to hype people up for games, for upcoming games. They were very good at meticulously picking out pictures that would purposely get you excited. So I'm flipping through it one day, and I come across Metal Gear Solid. I was like, a new Metal Gear? A new Metal Gear? Really? A new Metal Gear? PlayStation 1. Oh my god! Pictures. Looked at all these pictures. They even had some of the concept art out of this. And I was like a pig in shit. I was so excited. I was thrilled. I was ready to throw money down now. Then I saw the release date and it was like a year. Deflated. But the guy behind the register noticed. I was kind of disheartened. And he goes, "You like Metal Gear?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, we have like the demo from this Japanese PlayStation magazine. You want it? I'm like, yeah, how much is it? He's like, $5. I'm like, oh, why so cheap? He's like, oh, 'cause we burned it on a computer. Do you have a modded PS1? And any video game nerd in the 8th grade worth his salt already had a modded PS1. Already had the RAM cart and the flippity flop for the Saturn and all that stuff, which I had. So I was like, yeah, man, I got it. Yeah, I'll take one. I'll take the magazine too, and give me episodes, season 1 of Dragon Ball Z tapes 1 through 3. Shitty VCR copies of footage and fan translations and everything, whatever. But let's say I dropped about $40 that day, and I took all this stuff home, tossed the VHS aside, put the magazine out in front of me, popped in the demo disc, and I played the Metal Gear demo at least 10 times in one sitting. Mind you, this demo was like maybe 10 minutes long, not even that long at all. But I was hooked. It was the opening scene to get to the elevator. Hooked, absolutely hooked. It was new and familiar all at the same time. I just couldn't get over the amount of detail that went into this. Even though I couldn't understand a damn thing because it was all in Japanese. But, like the subtle touches that made me remember the NES game were still there, like the exclamation point and all that stuff. And I was thrilled, absolutely thrilled. But I had to wait a year. So, in the meantime, I decided I was going to replay the NES version of Metal Gear over and over and over again for practice, because apparently a somewhat isometric game translating into a fully 3D game would somehow amount to some sort of practice for something that is supposed to be tactical espionage action. That was another thing. The subtitle, Tactical Espionage Action, awesome. So, for a few months I was playing the original Metal Gear. My NES was revived, and I ended up replaying a few other games in the process and digging out those old tapes to make sure I was fully prepared for the onslaught that would be Metal Gear Solid. Now, finally, release day was upon us, and it was a school day. So I was thinking, how am I going to get this game if I have to go to school? And I have no money. So, to take care of this, I came up with a twofold strategy. 1, I would beg my mother for money, and 2, I would beg my mother to let me call in sick for school. I got the money. I had to go to school. So I was kind of upset, but, being the crafty little shit I was, I came up with an idea. I would need to go to the doctor midday. And then I would go pick up the game and then come back and say, yeah, he said I'm fine. So, went to school with this wad of cash. Got to school, told my teacher, I have to go to the doctor, blood test, I don't know. Teacher's like, do you have a note? I'm like, no, it's last minute. Okay, go ahead. So I left, like 11:30, 12 o'clock, just before lunch. And went to GameStop, well, Software Etc. It's now a GameStop. I went over to the guy and went, hey, do you have Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1 by chance? And the guy looks at me and goes, no. But, the computer, AOL told me that the game was coming out today. He goes, no, man, that's the shipping date. We get the game the next day. Now, minor rant. Why the hell would you put down the shipping date? Put down the day you actually have it. They do it now, but back then I was heartbroken. I was like, so you'll have it tomorrow? I was like, yeah, we'll have it tomorrow. I'm like, okay, well, can I reserve it? I'd like to put some money down on it. He goes, I can't do the day before. The demand is too great. The second he said demand, my heart shattered. Just shattered. I was thinking, oh my God, I am not going to be able to get this game. I am not going to be able to get this game. So I left because I had to go back to school. And now it's the afternoon. I'm sitting there. I'm taking a math test. Literally, I'm taking a math test. And I'm just writing down random numbers. I'm not even paying attention. I was so upset. Thinking I'm not going to get this game. I have to go to school tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. So, finish the test, get home, and of course, to add insult to injury and put salt in the wound, I'm playing the demo again. The bottom of the disc is now heavily scratched and corroded because I've played it so much, completely ignoring the Final Fantasy demo on it at this point. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I have the money still. My mom, for all intents and purposes, never asked for change, thank God. So, at that point, I just had an idea. I was like, you know what? Tactical espionage action. I'm going to make my own tactical espionage action. Literally, that's what I thought. That's how lame this is. So, went to school the next day, went over to my teacher and said, listen, I have to go back to the doctor. They found something wrong with my blood test. And good thing I could be monotone from time to time because she believed me. And she was like, oh, okay, I hope everything's okay. And I'm like, yeah, I should be fine. Shouldn't take me that long. He's only 3 blocks away. But, around the Software Etc. So, whatever. So I left and I went there around noon-ish. Yeah, around noon-ish, I think. Walked in, went over to the guy. He remembered me from yesterday. He was like, hey man, what's up? And I'm like, hey, so you have Metal Gear now, right? The guy looks at me and goes, no. I'm like, but you told me to get it today. He goes, nah man, we don't get our shipments till 2 o'clock. At this point, I lost my shit. You know how many times I've had to cut school and come in late and make up excuses to come here to pick up this game that you told me I can't reserve? He's like, dude, I'm sorry, it's out of my hands. And mind you, I'm like in 8th grade and this guy's obviously a lot older than me. So I'm kind of upset again. I'm just like, 2 o'clock, right? He's like, yeah, we'll have it by 2 o'clock. I'm like, okay. Went back to school. Sitting there, all pissed off, literally, with my arms crossed on my desk. And then went over to my teacher, like about 1:30, and I said, listen. Well, I didn't say listen, but I was like, the doctor said I have to go back again later this afternoon to review the results. And now at this point, she's really getting suspicious. She's like, so you went to the doctor yesterday, you had to go back today, and now you have to go back again? I was like, yeah, it's a really bad infection or something. To this day, I think she realized I was lying, but she said, all right, go, just make sure you come back. If you're not back, I'm gonna call your mother to just in case you're lying. Okay, fair enough for me. May God bless this nun's, as I went to Catholic school, God bless this nun's soul for letting me buy a game that was littered with violence. So, went back to GameStop, got there at like just before 2. Guy sees me coming in, just shakes his head. And at this point, I stop in the door like, oh. Pulls out a box, right on the counter, pulls out his keys, cuts open the box, pulls up the game, and just says, let me put it in the computer and it's yours. So happy. The second I bought that game, the second I paid him, the second that game was put in the bag, at least, no joke, 15, 16 other people walked in, all for Metal Gear. And that box was empty by the time they were all rolled out. And I don't know if I took somebody's reservation or pre-order or whatever, but who cares? That's dust in the wind. Went back to school. Teacher looks at me and goes, "So you okay?" I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. She's like, "Oh, because I said a prayer for you." I was like, "Thanks. Guess it worked." So I'm sitting there at the end of the day. I'm not even paying attention to any of my lessons. I'm just flipping through the manual. I'm like, oh God, these names: Liquid Snake, Solid Snake, Decoy Octopus, Psycho Mantis. Like, I was eating it up. I was hyped. I was so hyped. And the best part is now they were going to speak in English and I could know what the hell was going on. Played the game, got home, played the game, finished in about a week. And despite me now understanding what these guys were saying, I didn't understand a goddamn thing. This story was so convoluted. It was totally over my head. But the game itself, the play style, everything about it, I absolutely loved. It was so good. I wasn't able to do the torture chamber though. Now I can do it by putting the controller flat and just taking a pen and just doing this or this. It works, trust me. So needless to say, I played through that game tons of times, numerous times, and all my friends knew. You want to talk about Metal Gear, you want to know about tactical espionage action, you talk to that guy. It was just, everybody just knew. And then eventually a friend of mine asked me if he could borrow it. And at this point, this is when we were doing the game trading thing back and forth, so I was like, sure. Thus why it's still lost in Queens. But, you know, he's a good friend of mine, so I trust him with it. I know he's taking very good care of it in his basement. So, years after that, now that I'm an adult, I understand that Konami's releasing a Metal Gear Solid Essentials pack. And I thought, why not? So I go day of to pick it up. No pre-order, no reservation, no drama, in a suit, still. Only this time as an adult. And I say, yo, my man, can I get that Essentials pack? He's like, yeah, sure. And that's it. No freaking drama, no shipping date, no actual arrival date, no nothing. Pop this game in. At this point, I'm using a PS3. But I wasn't really into gaming as much anymore. But for the sake of nostalgia, I wanted to replay this game. The story made sense. The story made absolute sense. It was incredible. It was like, literally, I relived this whole thing all over again. And I understood it. And that made the game so much better. And then I played through the second one. Then I played through the third one. Because at that point, I hadn't even played them yet. As I pretty much dropped out of gaming. And I was so thrilled. I was revitalized. I was like, you know, I'm gonna go to Virgin Megastore, I'm gonna buy another game. Yeah, that's right, I'm gonna buy another game. Because originally I only got the PS3 for Blu-rays, which is stupid. Oh, and Rock Band. But went to Virgin Megastore, may it rest in peace. I was like, I'm gonna buy a game, I'm gonna have a good time, I'm gonna buy a game, And what do I see but a huge display for Metal Gear Solid 4. Literally, I shit myself. There you have it. That's pretty much a very roundabout way history of me with Metal Gear Solid, particularly with how I picked up the first one, because I think it's so unbelievable that I managed to pull off calling out of school 3 times in 2 days just so I could get it. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Keeping this very low budget, but let me know what you guys think. If you guys found this interesting, you know, I'll continue doing these. I may just do it anyway because I do like talking about stupidity that's happened to me in my life. And if you have any similar experiences with game releases or whatnot, please, by all means, post a comment below or a video response if you deem necessary. I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, I've been Alex, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Take care.